I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our live public business meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty, gentlemen. Item number one, we have Mr. Cliff Wendricks, our local iron workers, 568.
So I'm here representing the iron workers and Mr. Tim Story, who competed in our annual apprenticeship competition that was held in DC this year. Last year we hosted here in town, and he was fortunate enough to get a second place, but this year he was even more fortunate to be able to finish his first place. It's a pretty prestigious award for us. It covers the Mid-Atlantic District Council, which covers all the way from Charleston, South Carolina to Cumberland, Maryland, 7 locals in between, varying anywhere from 2 to 3 competitors apiece, and now being Tim has the honor of representing the Mid-Atlantic District Council. He'll go on to Houston, Texas to represent not only the District Council, but our local union, Local 568 here in Cumberland, as a competitor, and hopefully bring back the championship from Houston, and he'll be competing against the rest of the United States and Canada. Wow. So he's got quite a big shoes to fill here as he goes forward, but you know, we have the utmost confidence that I think he's going to bring it back for us. So I have several citations here I'd like to present to him, and I understand the county commissioners as well want to present. The first one's from from Senator George Edwards' office.
Why don't you come on?
It says, State of Maryland, resolution, be it known to all that the State of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Tim Story in recognition of winning the Mid-Atlantic District Council Ironworkers Apprenticeship Competition representing Ironworkers Local 568. Congratulations. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on the 14th day of May, 2016. The next one here I have is from the General Assembly. It's an official citation. Be it hereby known to all, and sincerest congratulations are offered to Tim Story Ironworkers Local 568 in recognition of your first place finish in the recent Mid-Atlantic District Council Ironworkers Apprenticeship Competition in Upper Marlboro for qualifying to compete in the international competition in Houston in September. And this one specifically is from Montgomery County Legislative District 19, Roger Mano's office. And last but not least, from our Senator Ben Cardin's office, U.S. Senator Benjamin J. Cardin Certificate of Special Recognition, presented to Tim Story Ironworkers Local 568 in honor of your accomplishment to the Mid-Atlantic District Council Ironworkers Apprenticeship Competition, signed Benjamin Cardin.
This is something you really need to be proud of. I helped set up apprenticeship competitions for open shop students for a number of years, and people in this room have no idea how difficult those competitions are, competing against your peers in all different types of trades. You go to the nationals, you bring that home, and you'll stay on the record for a long, long time.
Yeah, we have one. Come on up here.
Come on.
I can't take the credit. This gentleman did it all on his own.
God gave me that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This one reads, the Allegheny County government wishes to publicly recognize Tim Story, the 4th-year iron worker local union 568 apprentice, the International Association of Bridge Structural, Board Iron Workers Apprentice Competition for the Mid-Atlantic District. We, the Board of County Commissioners, take this occasion to congratulate Timothy James Story for this exceptional achievement this 30th day of June 2016. That's signed Bill Valentine, Free Pro, Jake Shea. Congratulations.
Position here.
Yeah. We're always out of position.
A little further this way, please.
The other this way, Jim.
Yes.
All right, maybe Mr. Story, Mr. Hendricks, you could change spots. We'll put down. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'll bring the trophy back to show everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty. Item number 2 is a motion to approve and adopt our capital improvement CIP for fiscal year 17 through 2021. Mr. Patterson.
Thank you. The 5-year CIP was presented publicly on May 5th at this business meeting. Since that time, I've had 0 comments. So tonight, there's a motion before you to approve this 5-year CIP as presented on the 5th of May. Any questions?
Is there a motion?
Move that we accept the CIP.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ed.
We made that easy on you this time.
Item number 3 is Resolution 16-18, our Transportation Improvement Program 2017 through 2022. Sierra.
Good evening. So the CIP actually goes hand in hand with the Transportation Improvement Plan program. This one, it's a whole new tip. I've done amendments to the last one, but I had some updates from State Highway. There's 10 State Highway projects, 3 Allegany County projects which appear in the CIP, 3 City of Cumberland projects, and 1 City of Frostburg project, along with the Transit's operating and capital budgets. And basically, it's the obligated project and obligated projects in that fiscal year 17 through 22 time span. And I'm asking the commissioners acting as the MTO to approve TIP.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 16-18.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sierra. Gentlemen, item number 4 is our Allegheny County Board of Education. It's a fiscal 2017 budget amendment, and we have their new Chief Finance Officer, Mr. Lawrence McKenzie.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before you this evening, for your consideration is a budget amendment for fiscal 2017, which takes into account the categorical changes that were made by the Board of Ed as a result of the variance between the requested appropriation and the actual appropriation from the Board of Commissioners, as well as a few other miscellaneous changes within the revenue streams. Anyone have any questions?
Bill?
Do you know what this year's budget is compared to last year's in terms of overall Board of Ed funding?
It's 100 and almost 119 million. Let's see. I think it's ups. It may be ups slightly.
But it's up a little bit from last fiscal year.
Yes.
I mean, it's,
Yeah. Last year it was 118,351,000. So this year it's 118, $972,551.
Just to be clear, it's not being cut 2 million from last year. I mean,
No.
that's just adjusting the budget.
That's correct, that's correct. Yeah, from the request to get it back in alignment across the categories, correct.
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it. I think I'm on board.
Oh, we got another one.
Okay.
Nobody escapes that.
That's right.
Okay, so also for your consideration is another amendment for fiscal 16. Our board met today and approved this, and basically what it is, as you're aware, healthcare costs have been jumped dramatically, and we will basically be overrunning our fixed charge category, and so we're requesting to move $2.2 million from fund balance into that category. And basically what that will do, that will replenish the healthcare reserve for the beginning of the next fiscal year.
Gentlemen, is there any discussion?
What is there a plan in place to keep that fund healthy now?
Well, the board, through its negotiations, did make several changes contractually. There is going to be an 80-20 split versus an 85-15 split for healthcare. They also made several plan design changes as well to help offset some of those increasing costs.
I make the motion to accept it.
Second?
I'll agree.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the total balance of the reserve fund?
Okay, so where we were, if you recall, at the beginning of the year, we were about $6.6 million at July 1 of 15. Within the plan, we had anticipated using $1.4 million to balance the budget, the current year's budget. So we've since added or moved $1.5 million. That was in December. And then we're moving another $2.2 million at the end of the, or requesting to move 2.2, which takes it down to about $1.5 million. Now, what we do foresee is positive variances across the other categories that will help at the end of the year kind of restore that balance to between $3.1 and $3.4 million.
Right. But after we move this 2.2, you have about $1.5 million.
Until the audit is finished, and
right.
During that process, we do have positive variances that will we do expect will come through here at the end of the year.
Well, I just want you to know and to relay to the board that myself, along with the commissioners and our finance department, are happy to work with you and more than willing to help find a solution, because we know your budget has some tough spots in it. And so we do what we can. We increased spending to the board over $300,000 this past year, but obviously there's structural problems that need to be dealt with, and we look forward to helping you with that.
I appreciate your willingness and your support to do that, and look forward to working with you all as well.
Great.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
3 to 1. Thank you. Gentlemen, item number 6 is a new contract for our county administrator, Mr. Rudd. No, Mr. Rudd is not the new county administrator.
Thank you, Pat. The commissioners, as commissioners aware, Mr. Everly's contract is about, I guess, to expire. You're extending this contract essentially from tomorrow to June 30th of 2020. And it's been reviewed. Mr. Westfall and I have reviewed it, prepared it. We present it for your consideration.
Is there any discussion?
Nice of you to take such a huge cut, Dave. We appreciate that.
There is. Mr. Everly has agreed, it's not in his contract, to take possession of a county vehicle, which I want at Brian, that he will get a county vehicle, and if anyone has any questions or problems with that they can come and see me. This was not Mr. Everly's idea whatsoever. With that, I will make a motion that we accept Mr. Everly's contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Now, if you don't throw us all out, we'll be good.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you very much.
We now move to our consent agenda, Mr. Everly.
Commissioners, tonight we have 9 items on your agenda for possible action. Item 7 is a motion to appoint Dan Lasher as the Allegheny County representative to the Local Justice Reinvestment Commission. This is a new commission that the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention has been soliciting participation across the state for. Item 8 is a motion to award the county's annual consortium of fuel bid contract to Potomac Valley Petroleum, amount of $702,033.85. Commissioners, this contract covers the county's supply needs for unleaded gasoline, diesel fuel, heating oil, and kerosene. Item 9 is a motion to abate county taxes on properties which were not sold at tax sale over the years and have landed in the possession of either the county or one of our municipalities. Item 10 is a motion to approve a single budget amendment for the Department of Public Works to transfer unexpended operating funds from 2016 into our PAYGO account to cover future road and bridge projects. Mr. Patterson, you welcome. Item 11 is a motion to authorize county staff to begin the process of advertising for the 5th and final phase of the Braddock Sewer Rehab Project and authorize the President to sign applicable funding documents. Commissioners, Phase 5 of this project, which includes the Grandtown, Eckerd, and Claryville area, is actually the final step of the construction phase, and it includes the sealing of connections for collector lines and lateral lines. And it's important to note that all 5 phases of this project will cost an estimated $6.8 million, and we're very, very fortunate. Over 75% of the cost of all these improvements have been borne by grants received by the county. And once again, we thank our Department of Public Works for all the work and working in our pre-pace meetings over the years and trying to secure this funding. Item 12 is a motion to authorize staff to solicit proposals for our small bridge inspection services. Commissioners, this is an exercise that we're obligated to complete every 5 years. And a small bridge is a classification where it's actually 20 feet or under. Item 13 is a motion declaring vehicle surplus. The current motion lists 3 vehicles. Commissioners, however, we learned late yesterday afternoon that the Sheriff's Office has a need for the Mazda Tribute, so I would like for you to take action only authorizing the surplusing of the Mercury Mountaineer and the Crown Vic, which are on your agenda this evening, and authorize their disposal. Item 14 is our annual motion authorizing the county service contract with Blue Cross and Blue Shield for calendar 2016. And item 15 is a motion approving the contract renewal with the Hartford to support the county's workers' compensation program for next fiscal year. Mr. That concludes our consent agenda for the evening.
Gentlemen, is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Everly, correspondence.
Commissioners, I have 2 pieces of correspondence for you to consider this evening. As we have in the past several years, we send a letter each and every year to Tony Crawford, who is the district engineer from Maryland State Highway, located in Vale, for a project known as the Polish Mountain Hill Climb Sports Car Event. And I can read this letter into the record, or we can dispense with it.
I don't think it needs to be read, just same thing.
Yep.
Commissioners, if you would kindly, because of schedule tonight, if you would sign off on that for me, I would appreciate it. Commissioners, and for the public, this is an opportunity for the county each and every year to authorize the special sporting event in eastern Allegheny County, which brings a lot of tourists to the area. It's an awful lot of fun for guys with fast cars and a lot of nerve.
Well, I think that the Flintstone Volunteer Fire Department really looks forward to this too, don't they? So-
They're a fundraiser for that fire company.
And Commissioners, I also have a letter dated June 30th, 2016 to George Edwards, Senator of Maryland, and it's concerning the county's local impact grant from Rocky Gap. If you'd like, I can read this in.
Let's read that one.
Dear Senator Edwards, in advance of the next legislative session in Annapolis, we respectfully request that the Allegheny County delegation seek an amendment to the Code of Maryland to correct a funding inequity over the state's distribution of local impact grants generated from video lottery terminals at gaming facilities. Currently, Allegheny County receives 2.75% of the state's portion of the proceeds from the video lottery terminals from Rocky Gap. Other communities across Maryland which host a gaming facility are receiving 5.5%. Unlike other jurisdictions in the state, Allegheny County was a primary contributor to the development of a resort at Rocky Gap long before it landed into private ownership and became a gaming facility. By the close of fiscal 2017, Allegheny County will have contributed just under $7.5 million in the form of debt service on bonds taken to support the original development of the resort dating back to 1996. Given the robust success of the resort now that it is in private hands, we believe that a more equitable distribution of the gaming proceeds is warranted, a distribution that is identical to other impact grants authorized across the state. Working closely with the appointed members of the Local Development Council, Allegheny County has demonstrated outstanding stewardship of the funds it is presently receiving under the existing formulary. An increase in the level of the impact grant will assist Allegheny County in addressing unmet needs throughout the community, particularly in the area of education access and public safety. As a member of the Allegheny County Development Council, you are aware that these funds are used to support the Opportunity Scholarship Program for Allegheny County residents, fire and EMS companies countywide, furnishings for the new Allegheny High School, and a grant to the Western Maryland Food Bank. Thank you for your consideration of this request, and feel free to give our offices a call should you have any questions. That sign already. That concludes my report, Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Everly. Mr. Rudd.
Yes, there's a statement that I need to read on behalf of the Commissioners. This relates to a closed session that was held on Thursday, June 9th, 2016 at 3 o'clock p.m. in room 408. The Board of County Commissioners at a public session convened on Thursday, June 9th, 2016 at 3 o'clock p.m. voted to go into a closed session. The meeting time and place and the matter of the meeting were provided in a public notice provided in the same manner and to the same entities as received notice of all public meetings. The meeting was closed in accordance with the General Provisions Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305, and the purposes for which the meeting was closed were as follows. 1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom the board has jurisdiction, or B, any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. That's under General Provisions Article Section 3-305B1. And 2, consultation with counsel to obtain legal advice concerning the matters referenced in number 1 above. Those in attendance for the closed session were Commissioners Jacob C. Shade, Commissioner Creed V. Brody Jr., Commissioner William R. Valentine, County Attorney William M. Rudd, and Director of Human Resources Brian Westfall. Discussion was held concerning personnel matters pertaining to one or more specific individuals. No official action was taken as a result of said discussion, and no votes were taken. After conclusion of the discussion concerning the above matters, the Commissioners voted unanimously to adjourn the closed session, and it was adjourned at 3:50 p.m. I have nothing further.
Mr. Valentine.
Well, there's not a whole lot to talk about other than recently I attended a board retreat for Maryland Association of Counties. We're getting together our legislative issues that we'll be looking at this coming year. Counties all work together, and MACO is a big plus for Allegheny County. So our first meeting is actually a little bit later in July, so we'll be getting things started.
Great.
Well, sir, I'm going to keep this short because I have three things and I got somewhere to be. But first of all, I'm going to start by hope everyone has a safe and happy 4th of July, because that is coming, so everyone behave themselves the best they can. Second thing is, the reason for me going to be out of here early today, today is my mom and dad's 55th wedding anniversary. I think that's pretty good that I get to sit here and announce that to everybody. And the last thing is, as I was going to leave right after this, but I would like to, Mrs. Sturst, I'm going to stay for, if when you speak, you going to read your letter into record?
Yes,
I think you need to, and then shortly after that, so we'll
Great.
get to record.
Discussed it.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. Jake?
There we go. I think we have it covered. There's a couple announcements we'll make at the end. And so right now we'll go into, we have a couple of people signed up to speak. Mrs. Sturts, you're first.
I'll take glasses off, because I use them great. My name's Christine Weller-Sturts, and my husband and I own 5 properties in Allegany County. And since 1985, my husband's ran Seafood Unlimited on 36, if anybody's ever been there. I understand the true value of quality water and its effect on your health and life. I'm a nurse. And we do want that new water system in our area. With 2016 technology, I can see an 8-inch line 50 feet away from me. And we really need it for our business. The current system is a private system. It has a 2-inch line and no pressure and no volume. And I didn't know if there's any regulations on the size or the pressure or anything on a private line. I know nothing about the system. The variable system doesn't have any meters. They don't send us a bill. There are no agreements signed. There's no upgrades planned in the near future. We give a donation to the system because they don't send us a bill. Then they can change that amount without telling us. So I don't know if there's any regulation to it. I didn't know if they're regulated by the Public Service Commission. Our rates change without a notice. And I was just informed yesterday that now the president is not the same. But since 2012, we talked about getting water in our area. And during the process about the water coming, I was approached, my husband and I were at our business, and Mr. Paul Kale from the Public Works informed us that Mr. Albright from the Variable Water Company had released us. Well, not knowing we needed a release, we were pleased that we were agreeing that they couldn't meet our supply or demand. And we were going to go with the Allegany County system as soon as it became available. Well, we were led to believe it was a non-issue. We'd be getting the water, and we'd get the volume we needed and the pressure to serve our business properly. Well, on the 17th of June, we were informed we couldn't hook up. That someone had decided that we weren't allowed to. And I was led to believe that it was state law that if the water line came in front of your property, you either hooked up or you had to pay the footage and not hook up. Well, I wanted the water, you know. I don't want to have to pay for it and not get it because I need it. We feel like we're being discriminated against, but we don't know by who, because we're told now we can't hook up. We are the only business in that area on 36, and we'll be the only one that doesn't have water. And we've heard many times that all you county commissioners say you want new business in the area. We're an established business, and we'd be interested in expanding it. But we need the water. We need access to the efficient water system. We need the pressure to do it. So what do we need to do to get the water solved and hook up to the county system? Who do I need to talk to? Am I here at the right place? we respectfully request that we get put on the water system on 36. Thank you.
Mrs. Sturts, I'm probably the best one to answer you on this. Barrelville Water Company is actually a public water company, and definition of a public water company is anything more than 15 customers. So they are recognized by USDA, which is who enforces the law if the water line goes by your house, unless you're being served by an existing water company, which you are, but they can't serve up above to Prince Albert, which is where this line's going. Now, to back up a little further, all along from the get-go on this line, it was made clear that once that line come under the creek, that your business would be able to be hooked up. So I'm not really sure where the confusion comes. And I was at the meeting up at Barrelville at the church when the water company met, and they voted not to take county water, which actually put us in trying to get water past their company up to existing customers, which we've successfully did. But I'm not sure where it ever came in. You was the only one that was the exception to that, because there were several people that wants to hook up, but unfortunately, as an overall group, they voted it down. Now, who is actually in charge of or regulates Barrelville Water Company is MDE. Maryland Department of Environment has 100% enforcement of that. County has no enforcement of a water system except our own. And nor can we force someone to go off of one system onto ours, because that's not within our guidelines, and actually that would be illegal. So I'm going to have to get back through this, because your husband Victor Sturts was actually the one that I actually said at the public meeting, once this gets across, could get hooked up, and it was all okay, after which the president of the Barrelville Water Company then said, well, we ain't going to release anyone. I'm not really sure
I think it changed
with
precedent.
a commercial aspect if they can service you or not. So we'll get this worked out. My suggestion is to the rest of the citizens of Barrelville, if you want to get something done, because we can't take them. It's just because they're a recognized system, is to get with MDE. I would suggest get with a delegate of that area and MDE and have a meeting, and then once they get that done up, we most certainly can talk. But your issue is kind of different from the rest of Barrelville, because it was always, the intention always was to get the commercial business hooked into this line. So I'm not sure what's going on. So most certainly hope that we can help you get this worked out.
And we'd be more than happy to let you connect onto the line. That's not a problem. It's whether we can make it legally happen with USDA guidelines and how we're situated with the Barrelville Water Company seems to be the problem. The change of presidents and the change of their.
We cannot take a customer away from another water company unless they agree to it. You know, we thought we had that agreement before. We had a verbal agreement. Unfortunately, you nor anybody else got it written. And now you've got new ownership or new control of that water company. But we are aware of the problem, and we are working on it.
And thank you for coming. So.
Mrs. Sturts, if you don't mind, you have your contact information in this letter.
Correct.
And we will reach out to you next week and begin the process of trying to coordinate a meeting between MDE and the delegation on this matter for you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dave.
You came to the right place.
Well, gentlemen, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I'd like to see the honeymooners before I head out of town, because that's a great milestone for mom and dad. So,
Alrighty.
Enjoy the week.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Happy 4th, Korea.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, we'll take Danny Williams, Mount Savage.
Hey, tell your mom and dad I say congratulations on her 55th.
Oh, I will. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate that.
Evening, gentlemen. Dan Williams, 12916 St. George's Lane, Mount Savage. About 3 meetings ago, I came in and I presented a letter to you guys from the Mount Savage Fire Department and Community Mount Savage in regards to the bridge at Cobblestone Road. Evidently, your guys before had got word from the fire department that they were not worried about the bridge being closed, and you have this already in your records, so we're not even going to get into that one that much anymore. After that, Mr. Patterson sent me some pictures that the inspectors that did the bridge and what was wrong with them and why the weight reduction was done on it. And it is where the beams actually set on the bulkhead that they started to deteriorate. That dropped that back when they did that to a 6,000-pound bridge, which means if we put water in our brush truck, we can't take it across the bridge. Can't take the ambulance across there if you got a full course. I ran into a gentleman from State Highway who was up there, one of their engineers, looking at what they're doing, because when they start working the Route 36 bridge there at the old fire hall, Iron Rail Street, which runs from one end of town to the other, will become Route 36. Right now it's basically a one-lane road. Explained to him what was on, had talked to some people from my big construction company here, and explained to him what was going on with the bridge. Because if anything at all should happen to close Iron Rail Street, which it does a lot, and you're going to be running all Route 36 traffic around it, there's no way to get into town from the north end. There's no way to get out of town from the north end. You have an elementary school on the hill that has over 900 kids in it. We're up there a lot during the year. Explained to him what was going on with the superstructure underneath that bridge, and he said, actually, if you use material like that was made out of, that bridge could be plated, like an L bracket plate thing on there, and plate that bridge where it sits on the bulkhead, which puts it back in service. If nothing's done with it, and that's every 2 years, isn't that? 2 years they check it?
That bridge?
Yeah.
The condition of it warrants it every 12 months.
Okay. All right. Then it becomes a walkway bridge at all. You can't take nothing across it. Should we have any major problems, fires, anything at the school, whatever, without that bridge, you cannot get in and out of town headed towards Corriganville. This gentleman said that if we, as the community, and you guys as commissioner, approach the state, because they're the ones doing this, that they could come in and plate that bridge and put it back in service. We're asking you for help. Make arrangements, talk to them, have their engineers look at it, somebody else. Because when they start this new bridge, it's going to be at least a year doing that bridge. Iron Rail Street, the back road in Mount Savage, is going to be Route 36. There's 18 to 20 tractor trailers come in that town every day to go to specialties. It's a big factory up there. Employs a lot of people. They can't get in, and if something happens, we're done. Those vehicles could not go across that bridge. They would still be using Iron Rail Street. But it's basically a one-lane road, and if anything happens to it, we cannot get help in or out of the community. It becomes a safety factor now. And he seemed to think, with as much as the state tried to help out Fensel when they were doing that bridge up there, and they decided to get another engine up there on their own, that we're in the same situation. Should we have a major problem, or anything at all with that school or in the community whatsoever, we cannot get to our kids or get to our community. Anything you guys can do to help us out on it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny, and you know, we're happy to help, but I think if you want to get a quick response, the legislative delegation would be the ones to talk to.
Got a call into Mr. Buckley, and I'm waiting to hear from Mike.
Well, that's it. And when they tell State Highway something, they jump. When we tell State Highway something, they
Take it over.
yeah, exactly.
You open the door, I'll get the big dog to live up
There we go.
there. Mark, can you help me out?
I didn't hear what you said.
Your headaches are back today.
All righty.
We'll work on it for you then. Thank you.
Our last comments of the night involve a cat problem. Would you all like to come up together, or just one of you?
My name is Renee Gloss. I live at 11641 Brum Road in Mexico Farms. This is my neighbor, Bertha Rossborough. I live at 11647 Bierman Drive. For over 2 years, we've had a problem with a neighbor who is boarding feral cats. I have some pictures here that I took on June the 11th. We have complained to the animal shelter. We have complained to several agencies in town. We've gotten no response. All we hear is that feral cats are not a problem in comparison to feral dogs. However, one of those cats crossed Miss Rossborough's invisible fencing and did this to her registered Jack Russell dog. A month ago, I had a dog, both of my dogs were adopted from the animal shelter. I had a senior Jack Russell who was in the yard with a female Pomeranian that I had adopted who was pregnant from a puppy mill. She was outside with her puppies. I was outside with the dogs in my privacy fence. Two of those cats jumped my fence, went for me, went after my puppies, and the Jack Russell took off after them. Long story short, my Jack Russell's dead because she was run to death by these cats. Now, this gentleman's been talked to by neighbors. He's been warned. He's blatant. Now, people say there's not a problem with cats. I've worked in laboratories at least 12 years out of my life. Toxoplasmosis is carried by cat feces. A pregnant woman eats food out of a garden where a cat has defecated, she can get toxoplasmosis. We don't know if these cats are rabid, but we've killed rabid animals in the neighborhood. We had a rabid skunk about a year ago. I spoke with Jim Mullen from DNR. Putting out cat food brings in rabid animals. It brings in raccoons, it brings in possums, it brings in skunks. Not only that, we've got 3 brand new litters this year that have been born under neighbors' porches, under their decks of pools.
Yes.
I have a 1-year-old granddaughter. I can tell you this, one of those cats crosses my privacy fence and attacks my granddaughter. I'm not going to be responsible for what happens because this is out of control. And this is going on all over Mexico Farms, but this man here, on any given day, you can drive past his house and count 20 to 30 cats in his yard. And we're at our wit's end. And this is definitely a community health problem. They're getting into the trash, they're tearing up roses, flower gardens. My yard is full of cat feces, and in the summer, that's all you smell is cat urine, and I don't have a cat.
And on our sign-in agenda, we do not have any contact information for you. If you would, here in a few moments,
Absolutely.
close the meeting, if you and I could talk for a couple of minutes, I'd like to get some contact information from you, and we will be making a few phone calls, okay?
Well, I'm directly across from this gentleman, and I have numerous cats in my yard all the time. I went over and talked to him in a friendly manner, and 3 or 4 years ago, when the animal shelter would come and do something about it, they would fine him. They took like 25, 30 cats out at that time, and now and he was supposed to get what cats he wanted to keep fixed, and here we are again facing the same problem. Something has to be done because they're overrunning our community, and it's just getting worse every year. And my dogs, they roll in it, their feces. Unfortunately, they eat it because that's what Jack Russells do, and it's not a healthy situation for anybody. So it has to be corrected. And I'm an animal lover. She's an animal lover, but this is way beyond loving animals. It's a sickness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Plus, they walk all over your car. Yank through your car.
Alrighty. Our next public business meeting is Thursday, July 14th at 5 p.m. Allegheny County government will be closed Monday for July 4th. Thank you. Have a safe holiday.